What's up, y'all? This is Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesday, here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Greatly appreciate it. If you could, please hit the subscribe button, the like button. Make sure you stay up to date with all of my future Teachable Tuesdays content. I would like to welcome you to a Teachable Tuesday short, where in 5 minutes or less, I do my best to talk about a subject that you guys came up with or something that came to my mind. And seeing as this week is finals for a lot of colleges / universities, I wanted to kind of just offer some tips, or better yet, really at the time of this recording, but this can be used, just in general, in case you're discovering this video a little later on. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, the like button, so that way you can stay up to date with all of my future content. So, as someone who's a grad student at the University of Central Florida, obviously that means that I have done undergrad at another college / university, which that college / university was Bethune-Cookman University. So I have my fair share of experience when it comes to midterms and finals. And I want to offer this finals tips. This really can go for anybody, but this is especially for freshmen or those of you who are first year graduate students, because it might be some new things that you are experiencing that may be different from when you were in high school, or also different from when you were in undergrad. And again, these tips, they can be for anybody. This is especially targeted for freshmen and for first year grad students. So I'll start off with my freshmen. So first thing I want you guys to understand is it's not best for you to cram for exams. And really, this also goes for anybody. But the reason why I say that is because a lot of times, we have this mentality of, as long as we do it, it's fine. But you want to give yourself ample amount of time to get ready for exams. And the reason why I say that is because you have multiple classes, unless you're probably just taking one class at a time, which if that's the case, that's a bit of a different story. But if you're a full-time college student, you're taking multiple courses, and that can be a bit challenging trying to cram everything in at once. Think about you cramming a biology exam, then your math exam, then your English exam, then your social science exam, then, so on and so forth. So my recommendation would be to at least give yourself 2 to 3 weeks in advance to start studying for your finals as soon as you know your finals date, which in most cases, your finals date at the beginning of the semester, or at least the midpoint. You have a general idea of when your finals is going to be. Regardless if it's a paper or if it's multiple choice, give yourself ample time to complete the final. The last thing that you want to do is be waiting until the last minute. Now, for my grad students, obviously the same thing. But for my first year grad students, I want you to understand that you may not have a traditional final. I would say in my 2 years that I've been at UCF, I've had one class where I had a traditional final. No, I'm sorry. I've had 2 classes that I've had a traditional final. All my other finals have been papers. But even with those, you want to give yourself ample amount of time to complete it as well. If you got a 10-page paper for a final, don't wait the night before to write your final paper. I mean, shoot, even if it's a 4-page paper, you want to give yourself ample amount of time to make sure that you are studying and you have the right material and so on and so forth, okay? Another thing about finals, and this can go for everybody, regardless of what level you're at, but make sure you are taking breaks as you're studying, okay? You don't want to, get so overwhelmed, and your brain can only handle but so much. So if you're studying for an exam, let's say you got an exam a week from now, and you are studying maybe 3 hours for that day. Study for an hour, give yourself a 15-minute break. Study for another hour, give yourself a 20-minute break. And then, go hard for that last hour to make sure that you understand the material that you're going over that day. Flashcards are a big help. I know that sounds very elementary, but that is very useful. That's very helpful, especially if you have an oral exam. That can be really useful in terms of memorizing information. And also, don't assume that just because there's a particular section of the class that you're familiar with, that you're going to get it on the exam. And the only reason I say that is because obviously for some subjects, there's materials that you know better than others, but still go over everything that you went over that semester, because you never know. You might get to the day of the exam and you could have a brain fart. It happens. Also, while you're taking the exam, remember to take your time, as I always tell everybody. Make sure you're breathing. Make sure you eat a good breakfast or a good lunch right before your exam, so that way you're well focused and you're ready to go. And last but not least, just give it your best effort. Don't assume that just because you have a good grade in the class that you don't have to give no effort on the final exam, because some final exams can be worth quite a bit. I've had classes where final exams are worth 75% of your grade, and I had one class where it was worth 90. So yeah, just make sure you're giving it your best shot. Good luck to everybody who's taking exams this week or next week, whatever the case may be, or in the future, whenever you watch this video. But anyways, it's Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesday, here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be better. Thank you for joining me today. Greatly appreciate it. See you next time.